was the one that came up with the information that Kennedy Jr. was going to announce August 1st, 99, that he was going to run for president. It was a Kennedy family secret. They condemned him because they said the Secret Service cannot protect you. And in defiance of the family, John F. Kennedy Jr. planned to run for president. One mistake. He confided the secret to the Gore campaign, and I verified that. It leaked out, and those that opposed the Kennedy family as a dynasty had him assassinated by the bombing of his airplane, and I go into all the details. Carolyn Kennedy Schlossberg wanted to go public with the whole thing after his death, Jr. She did not participate at Hyannisport with the others. Are you following me so far?
I'm following you so far.
So we haven't heard from Carolyn Kennedy. The rest of the family says that they reportedly were going to silence her because she was going to drag this dirty secret out into the open.
And this dirty secret was?
That the Kennedy family, well, when Jackie Kennedy remarried to Aristotle Onassis, he was supposed to get on an airplane with his son Alexander. In 1975, the airplane was sabotaged. At the last moment, Aristotle, Jackie Kennedy's new husband, says, I'm too tired to get on the plane. The plane went up. The sabotage was that the controls were reversed. So the ailerons went the wrong way, and the plane crashed, and Alexander Aristotle died. So for a while, Jackie Kennedy and the children lived on an island surrounded by a private army of Aristotle. Why? She never trusted the Secret Service, nor did Caroline. And these are things that I bring out. In other words, let's see how I can explain this in a few words. The Kennedys came to terms with the reality of the American Republic. The bullet instead of the ballot.
When you say came to terms with it, do you mean accepted it?
They've come to terms financially. I'm forced, I guess, to go into some details because it may relate. There was a danger that if Kennedy Jr. ran for president, despite what he may say publicly, but in his heart of hearts, he would be pledged to revenge his father, to find out exactly who was in the cabal that blew out his father's brains in an open car in Dallas. And that was the same problem with Bobby Kennedy. One crystal ball reader, who some said was actually part of a plot, never mind the crystal ball, but said that there were guns between Bobby Kennedy and the White House, and of course you know what happened there.
Certainly.
He was the editor of George magazine, and my series on the murder of John F. Kennedy Jr. Points out little-known facts. The owner of George magazine is Hachette, and a major stockholder of Hachette is Saddam Hussein. So Kennedy Jr. knew, and presumably was going to bring out, that Saddam Hussein was a business partner of George Herbert Walker Bush, as came out in a lawsuit in Chicago, of which I and my associates were the only journalists there. And only one newspaper, a right-wing populist paper, ran the details, the spotlight.
Now let's say that one more time so that everybody digests that, because this is a matter of public record. This was in the courts, and your group brought it out, that in fact...
In the decade of the 80s, up to the Gulf War, George Herbert Walker Bush, who was the president, vice president and president, was the business partner in massive oil shakedown deals of the weak sheikdoms of the Persian Gulf. Hundreds of billions of dollars. The Gulf War, in its simplest terms, was a falling out of business partners. Saddam's half-brother in Geneva made a statement in the European press that if the American CIA kills his brother in Baghdad, that he will release documents requiring the U.S. government to put in jail Bush for treason. The documents came out, but the half-brother was himself assassinated. Some of those documents are now on my website. And you could see them there. There's a whole slew of secret Federal Reserve wire transfer records showing George Herbert Walker Bush's account with the Queen of England.
Yes, I've seen those.
In a bank owned by the Queen of England in London called Coutts Bank, London. There's the account numbers. It's all there. You can look at it, pull it up on your screen, study it. There's no way I can summarize that in a few words other than to say that is part of the documents that Saddam Hussein's half-brother threatened to release in order to put George Herbert Walker Bush in prison for treason. Okay? Now, why is this pertinent? Because Kennedy Jr. undertook to be the editor of George magazine on a contract with Hachette that expired in December '99. And he was threatening on the week before he was murdered by a bombed airplane to bring out this open secret that his boss was Saddam Hussein in business with Bush and were threatening to shut down the magazine because it was losing money. You see the point?
Certainly.
Now, the Kennedy family tightly kept the secret that Jr. intended to announce August 1st, '99, that he was running for president. Of course, he didn't live to it.
If I'm not mistaken, he did meet with some folks, in fact, in your town there, I believe about a week to 10 days before the crash.
Right. There was a lot. If I start going into all the details, we'll use up all the time just with that. I have a 4-part series about the murder of Jr., including a suppressed FBI document that goes into it, which was not supposed to be released for 30 years. The FBI became aware that I had their documents. They announced to the press 48 hours later that there was a threat against the FBI headquarters in Washington. They didn't say by whom. And that they're closing their headquarters to all public visits. Nobody has been able to refute the details that are in Part 4 of my series on the murder of... The series is called What Happened to America's Golden Boy. Part 4 is a transcript of some of the details from the FBI secret report, which was not to be released for 30 years, but it was. I got it. It's there. It's posted.
It's kind of interesting. Any ideas of, other than the obvious, what possible reason there could be that we haven't seen any photos of the wreckage or any film footage of the wreckage? Or
because it showed the tail blown off.
Well, yeah, it was kind of the obvious answer. Any idea of what kind of an excuse would be proffered?
They didn't give any excuse.
And we don't require one, do we?
They put out a bunch of fake stories that the weather was bad, blah, blah, all kinds of fraudulent stories. A video of a major station in Boston that says that Junior had, by radio, informed the airfield that he's coming in for a landing. And UPI ran a story about it, and it was both suppressed, even though that television station, on the air, interviewed a federal government official from the FAA about the thing. We have the video of the original thing that went on, I believe it was Channel 5 in Boston. And we're probably going to put something on our television show with that video to show that the government and the mass media lied. They lied. As to, notice, here's a few details. Some of the old-timers in the Los Angeles police were tied to the American CIA. And by 1994, some of them were still there. Why do I bring this up? Because they are the ones in the LA police
running drugs.
Up the murder of Bobby Kennedy, the second gun. And they were there to put false information into the record about O.J. Simpson.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Now that's a very...
Well, in a way, it's routine information. All you got to do is check who were the police officials that worked on the Bobby Kennedy cover-up in '68. And then notice that some of them were still there in '94, and they were the key people on the O.J. Simpson thing.
That's a fascinating
Now,
connection.
some may say, well, that's an irrelevant detail. Well, to my mind, it's a relevant detail. But, all right, why do I bring it up? Because Bobby Kennedy clearly, in his heart of hearts, would have had a position that if elected, he would get to the bottom of the cabal that murdered his dear brother.
Mm-hmm.
And, likewise, Kennedy's surviving son, John F. Kennedy Jr.,
Mm-hmm.
in his heart of hearts, was bound, I am convinced, was bound at some point to bring out about the cabal that murdered his father.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a natural feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It would be unnatural for him,
Mm-hmm.
if he got into high office, not to use his position to bring out what happened to his father and his uncle Bobby. I mean, is there something illogical about that or what?
No, that's not even a stretch.